Coming up on this edition of MSU Sports Scene, we have a live interview with MSU cycling coach Charlie Zamistill. The football team fought to keep their undefeated record in an overtime shootout, and MSU honors Robert Graves. All this and more coming up. Hello and welcome to MSU Sports Scene. I'm Jared Tuilangi. On September 19th, sophomore Robert Graves passed away after suffering a neck injury during the football game against Texas A&M Kingsville the previous weekend. During the halftime show on November 4th, MSU honored the memory of Graves with a special presentation. Robert's family, President Shipley, and Director of Athletics Kyle Williams gathered at the 50-yard line for an emotional ceremony. A plaque engraved with his name, number, and 24 strong will permanently hang above his locker, which was purchased by MSU football letterman. Graves' number 24 jersey is permanently retired by the university, a first in MSU's history. The football team remains undefeated after a hard-fought win over Tarleton State. Junior quarterback Leighton Rabb set an all-time school record, throwing for 433 yards on 26 of 45 attempts and 3 touchdowns. Sophomore receiver Tyreek Edwards led the team with 8 catches for 163 yards, and junior safety Cervell Ford led the defense with 10 tackles. The Mustangs sealed the 45-42 victory in overtime with a 21-yard field goal by sophomore kicker Jerron Imbriani. They'll look to clinch their first outright LSC title since 2011 as they take on Eastern New Mexico this Saturday at Greyhound Stadium in Portales. The volleyball team traveled to Dallas Baptist University on November 7th to earn their 14th win of the season. Seniors Ariel Edwards and Megan Bettis both had a career-high 23 kills each. They defeated Dallas Baptist 3-2 and will take on Cameron University tonight in the League Coliseum. The men's soccer team capped off an undefeated regular season this past weekend at Stang Park. They improved their overall record to 18-0-2 and claimed the Heartland Conference postseason title for a second straight year. With a 2-1 victory over Texas A&M International and a 1-0 victory over St. Edwards, the Mustangs will now head into the NCAA tournament as the #1 seed for the first time in program history. Be sure to come out and support your Mustangs this Sunday at 1 p.m. as they host the 4th-seeded Colorado Mesa. If you can't make it to Stang Park, the game will be live streamed at www.msumustangs.com. The women's soccer team will head into the NCAA postseason as the #5 seed. They'll take on 4th-seeded Colorado School of Mines later today at the Dallas Baptist soccer field. Kickoff is set for 1 p.m. The women's basketball team opens up their regular season with the Ashbrook Classic this weekend at DL League Coliseum. They take on Colorado Mesa this Friday at 3 p.m. and Oklahoma Christian on Saturday at 4 p.m. They'll look to start off strong heading into the season, ranked number 9 in the LSC preseason poll. If you can't make it to the games, you can stream them at www.msumustangs.com or tune in to 95.5 ESPN Radio. The men's basketball team kicks off their season this weekend in the Colorado State Pueblo Conference Challenge. The Mustangs were picked to finish 4th in the conference according to the new LSC preseason poll. They'll take on Arkansas Fort Smith tomorrow and Rogers State on Saturday. The first home game will be November 21st against Southwestern Assemblies of God. Midwestern State University is home to one of the best cycling teams around. Here's reporter Sterling Ellison with more about this outstanding group of cyclists.
One of Midwestern State University's most successful sports teams is the cycling team. The team was founded in 1989 by Robert Clark, and in the mid-90s, MSU became the first college in the country to offer cycling scholarships. MSU cycling coach Charlie Zamistill says the program has produced 39 national champions and many other decorated riders.
We had our first BMX national championship participant in 2014. We had our first cyclocross national championship participants in 2015. And we had our first top 15s in mountain bike nationals, which we've now participated in 3 different times.
MSU cyclist Josh Buchel says being on the cycling team has introduced him to a wide variety of people and cultures.
Cycling is really a great sport because it does take you all around the world, and you get to meet people from all over the world. Even here at MSU, we have a single team that has so many nationalities on it.
The cycling team is gearing up for a 150-mile ride to and from Mount Scott and looking forward to beginning their spring training when the conference season starts. For Mustang News, I'm Sterling Ellison.
We're lucky to have cycling head coach Charlie Zemstill here with us today. How are you doing today, Charlie?
Well, thanks.
Thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
So to start it off, can you describe the culture of the cycling team and what have you guys done to keep this program so successful?
Well, it began a long time ago and established a winning tradition, for the past 30 years almost. And so we're lucky to be, a target school for a lot of young cyclists. And the way we keep that going, I would say, is primarily by keeping the atmosphere very familial. We look after one another as if we were brother and sister, father-daughter, father-son. Whatever it is, we have each other's backs first. And even though we pride ourselves on a lot of individual accomplishments, we put the team ahead of our own personal ambitions, and that leads to greater success for everyone involved.
Absolutely. So in your time here at MSU, what has been the biggest adversity or setback the program has gone through, and how did you guys handle it?
Well, I would say in my first year when two of our cyclists were out on a training ride, we'd actually just completed a team training ride, and they were riding on to a bike shop to get their bike serviced when they were struck from behind by a driver at going about 40 miles an hour in late model Cadillac. So a 2-ton vehicle destroyed their bikes and destroyed their bodies. They were two of our finest riders. And so that season really was super draining for them, not only physically trying to get back on the bike in time for nationals, but also emotionally dealing with their bodies not cooperating with what they know they were capable of. And not letting that get to them, not letting their diminished performance set them back emotionally and mentally. Everyone really rallied around them. And we've had similar injuries like that before. I mean, we've had broken hips for Josh. We've had a rider go over a guardrail descending down a mountain. So we've had some scares, but we never let that get in the way of the ultimate goal of a team performance at nationals.
Definitely. So with having such a diverse group of riders, how does that not only benefit the performance, but the bond with the riders off of the track?
Well, I think they all have an innate curiosity about other cultures and different people. The cycling community is small, but it's tight-knit. And so there's that instant bond in virtue of being a cyclist, whether you're from Honduras or New Zealand or Bolivia, Sweden. We've had riders from all those countries and more. But instantly they become friends just in virtue of riding their bikes together. And then when you're out training, you spend such long hours on the bike, 3, 4, 5 hours at a time. That ride to Mount Scott that was mentioned is going to be about 8 hours. You wouldn't survive in this game if you weren't good at getting along with other people. So I think that, that just makes it really special, a special sport.
Okay, so to you, what do you think is the most difficult part of being a cyclist head coach?
Helping them balance their lives with their cycling aspirations. Mm-hmm. Like I said, it's a sport that requires pretty intense training hours, between 20 and 30 hours a week, typically. And so being able to do that while also keep on top of their grades, have a social life, like any other college student, they're still discovering who they are and what they want to do with their life. Some of them may come in with goals of becoming a professional cyclist, only to realize cycling is definitely something very important to them, but they're also aiming for a career in the law or a career in business. And being able to do both of that, it's a struggle for adults as well as for collegiate students. But I think helping guide them and discover not only who they are, but just exactly what they want to get from cycling, and making it part of their life while still allowing them to be a complete person is the best thing I can do for them.
Absolutely. So for those that may be interested in joining the team, what would they do what are the requirements, and how can they go about getting involved?
Okay. Well, yeah, that's the beauty about the cycling team is that we're open to anyone, whether you're brand new to cycling or an accomplished professional. We race in different categories, and so our scholarship riders, the professional caliber riders, they have far more time demanding requirements. They're required to do volunteer service. They're required to maintain their training schedule such that they are in tip-top shape all of the time. If you don't want to be on scholarship, but you still love cycling, enjoy cycling, just want to stay fit, we're open to anyone. I just talked to a young woman this morning who owns a bike, likes to ride, has gone on some slower rides with some of our team riders. And I said, look, I know you have a job. I know you have all these classes. You have internships. If you want to come and race with us, you can. There's no demand necessarily that you have to. But we would love to still have you as part of our team. And so I think she's interested.
Nice. Well, that'll wrap up the interview. Thank you so much for your time, Charlie.
Yeah, thank you.
That's it for this edition of MSU Sports Scene. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at MNG Media and like us on Facebook. Be sure to tune in next time for your MSU sports updates.